Welcome back. In the previous video, I went through this car, made it let's just call it wide body with overfenders, big wheels and stuff like that. Made it look like, you know, the dream vintage JDM car I always wanted. But that still left something behind, not just looks wise, but also just in the general state of the car. So this is after 2 days of rain. It is just swamped. It's not because there's holes in the body, stuff like that. It is simply because of all the sealing around the windows, stuff like that. In a car like this, where it isn't glued, it will over time go. So you can actually see it right here. I've removed some of the interior, where the water will seep in, run down this the inside of the fender, and it'll just pool right in here. So, and I'm not just gonna do the trick where you shoot out the bottom and have fun and giggles with that. I really want it to be like working and drivable. So this trim piece has to come off. I already had it off at some point. Having a look at the at everything underneath, the sealant, stuff like that, and this was glued in also. Also the top chrome is also just glued in. It's just plastic. So this was never perfect. So let's have a look at it. Out with the Hachi and in with the not so much Hachi. And just having finished the car and wanting to enjoy it, it's really annoying that all these small things and details were not on point. But that's how it is when you buy cars. You take chances sometimes. This car is 50 some years old, and there's gonna be some issues already here, and I saw that from the point where I bought it, but I thought I was gonna address it at some point. Everything's just glued in. Normally all this chrome is just held on by some tabs that you can remove it, and happy days. But this is just glued in with window sealant. Also, when you push down on this, the water bubbles up, and not just on the outside, also on the inside. So yeah, spending some money buying parts. This is the new window trim sealant for the rear. This is for the front. These are, I think they're reproductions. I don't think you can get the originals anymore. I don't think this car is on the Heritage series, but this fits up pretty good. Just tried to lay it on there, and gonna have to see if I can take this off. Alright, first problem. This is a very small piece of trim. It's actually held on by just 3 tabs, but already I'm having serious problems. Behind this, there's only supposed to be this seal, rubber seal. Here you go, this is one of the clips. They sit on the body, on small tabs, and then you put the trim onto these, and it'll hold it on. But this is the stuff I'm talking about. It's just glued in with window sealant. There's just so much of it. And also, when this has been put on, like inconsistent like it is, it's gonna hold water between all the layers. It's not gonna hold water out. It's just gonna hold water all the time in between. So this is a much worse solution than just, you know, leaving it. Water still comes inside the car. So I guess this has been, you know, somebody trying to fix it at some point, but again, lovely fix. Alright, first piece off. It doesn't look that bad, just the chrome trim. I'll reshape it just a bit when I need it, but all this glue and filler and whatnot has to come off. Already here you can just see water just seeping out the bottom. So let's get it off. Was a struggle. Again, a lot of crap in there. And the other side, much worse. Also, when I pulled out the old window whatnot, it just tore away the paint. The old Bondo sitting there, that was just totally water related. Let's get the rest of this stuff off. All the stuff off, time to remove the window. As this is not glued in, you have to be pretty careful. You also have to be careful with the glue remover, but this, because it catches on the bottom, on the seal, so you have to like pull it up before you can remove it. A lot of guys just try and, you know, flip it out and it will break. So having this off, you can just see right there in that small bevel that holds the window is just full of water. So, and this is just so far gone that if you pull on it, some of it is so brittle it just breaks off right in your hand. So. And again, this is just window sealant glued in there. That huge chunk is not supposed to be there. And here you have it. Just sitting like this, it still collects water, so everything is just soaked. So let's get it cleaned off and see what we're working with. Just went over it with a wire brush. I find that the easiest way to have a look at the metal underneath, but this is only if you need to repaint it afterwards, because you're gonna damage everything. But to get it down to bare metal, wire brush is probably the easiest way, without having to use paint strippers and acid and whatnot, sandblasting. And this is not gonna be a resto mod, so I'm not gonna have the body sent out for sandblasting. This kind of gives me a rough idea of what's wrong and what I can do. Again, just the entire seal area of the front window. And it's not really that bad. The metal looks good, no apparent rust holes, nothing like that. It's just horrible, horrible paint prep work combined with this seal that's done. So, turning my attention to all the blemishes it had around the car, thinking there must be a lot of rust underneath all this stuff. Especially here. I don't know if this was an old antenna hole or what the hell's going on here. So yeah. Also, this is probably the worst from the outside, and then it has all these cracks in the paint. I suspect there is again a huge layer of Bondo or body filler on it, but we'll have to see. Also, this part where it fell off a huge chunk of bonnet, kinda interested in seeing what's underneath all this. So this is like full 4 or 5 millimeters of body filler. And apparently nothing's really wrong with it, so I have no idea why they would, totally fill the entire bonnet up. This is like 2-3 kilos, something like that, of body filler just on the bonnet. That was a lot of work. So where the rear glass was, it also made puddles in the boot and also inside the car, and there's just standing water here. So the rear glass seal was just as bad as the front. Again, it looks like all the Bondo has just dissolved over the years, and with the seal getting hard and brittle, it just runs water right through it. So and as you can see, it's not rust, it's just glue residue from the sealant. So let's get all this stuff cleaned off. Got rid of all the trim outside, got rid of the boot lid, wire wheeled it to death, just to have a look at how much filler is on there and what's wrong. A lot of the places it was actually just the filler that had water underneath, and that has started the problems. Places like this, it was corrosion. But the funny thing about this was the big plug that was put in there was in a drilled hole just above the old antenna hole. So it was to hide some other rust. And all the places here that I went over before, that it looked really, really bad, isn't really that bad at all. So Also, the work where the roof have been replaced has been done correctly, I assume, and it has been leaded up. Here in Denmark we call it tinned. So that looks like proper bodywork. It's just all the paint preparation that was done really bad. Okay, next day, this nightmare just continues, and I hate opening up my garage and going out and having a look at something like this. But sometimes, in order to get where you want to be at, it's just, you know, bite down hard and just get it done. You can be annoyed about it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want perfection, you can go your entire life without having the car you want, stuff like that. But I just want it to be functional, and having water seeping in is not functional. So this is the big one, pulling everything on the front off and having a look at this. Okay, the orbital sander wasn't gonna cut it, so I put a wire brush wheel on the on my angle grinder, and so far it's nothing really that bad on the hood, just a lot of Bondo. And underneath, these beautiful sharp shapes of metal. It just looks so much better without all the dilution of the filler on top. But it's a little soft. That's the only thing I can see that would be wrong with it. But yeah, let's get the other side cleaned off and have a look. Nothing really, you know, just stands out and says this is why they did it. A lot of beautiful metal and a lot of Bondo, but this is a little soft. I think I can do something about it, but I have no idea why they did this. The old orbital sander just got a workout, and this just looks gorgeous. Again, beautiful shapes, nothing really that bad, just the corners, a little rust and a dent here in the front, but nothing that, you know, would justify putting on 5 kilos of Bondo. So. And this just looks so good. I just want to do the entire car like this. I think somebody just did a Celica in this look. But not this year, because mine has fiberglass front fenders, so that's not gonna fly. But so far, this is looking promising. So, some of it done. Next time, I start cutting into the last pieces. A lot of metal is cut out. A lot of metal is cut out. This just turns into a rust cutting fiesta. So subscribe, and I'll see you on that one. See you.